Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing today? Hello, kings and queens. Hope that you are having a fantastic day. Fantastic day. So, been thinking, been thinking about something. And I guess this has been on my mind for quite some time, especially since I've been actually seeing some recent news and very, very little disturbing. Um, I think it was in Florida where a mother, she had three children and she ended up dropping the children off in different locations, which was very sad. Again, this week, there was a child just left. I think it was on New York City Street, 4 years old. Um, I've been just kind of thinking about some things. That's why I actually titled this live Crumbled Flowers, Petals Fallen and Trampled Over. Who is addressing the unspoken issue? Okay, so as we probably all realize, the United States of America does not have it all together. We like to portray that image to other countries that we are of an elite status and we carry ourselves a certain way and it's almost like a better than attitude, but from the history, if anybody read history or research it, or from the recent actions, you would think that with all the technology, hello, kings and queens, with all the technology, all the knowledge, all the education, you would think with the growth, with the having access to science, math, just having access to so much, you would think that one would change. And just basic things in our life, basic things that would help citizens, basic things that would help the human race, basic stuff, like basic stuff, you know. One of the basic things that I can think of is maybe not lying. Let's just say that was a task for the month of March for no one. Not saying that people, not saying that you lie, but let's just say that everybody, we're going to focus on one, improving one area each day, each month, each day of the month. And I'm sure that we can all find 365 things that we can improve in our lives, okay? Um, but let's just say that we begin improving and really want to change and grow and develop. And so a lot of times I don't listen to the news, Jesus, because the news can have your mind going in every different direction. And we all probably experienced that from last year with who just being in office and just love drama and had so much going on constantly. Um, but it's always something. And what I'm finding out that there's not going to be a perfect human being in situation because I'm sure there's flaws. I know I have flaws. I know, I have things that I can improve on. I know that there's things that, I work on and I can change. And As long as we recognize what it is, as long as it's not harming someone else or to the detriment of someone else, as long as it's not putting someone else's life in a bad situation at stake, you know, you got to change those things immediately. I mean, you got to change that immediately. If you're harming somewhere, you're doing some harm to someone in any kind of way. But the reason why I titled this Crumbled Flowers and Petals Fallen and Trampled Over, who is addressing the unspoken issue, the children. And at one point, we were all children. At one point, believe it or not, we were all children. It doesn't matter if you're 70, 80 years old, you were once a child. And you were once in a position where you had to follow someone else's advice or rules, regulation, had someone in authority of you at some point in your life. Whether it was right or wrong, loving, unloving, whatever that situation was, you were a child, okay? And so I look at the children today, okay? And, sometimes, of course, the news will target some of the most horrendous stories, horrible things that are happening. But they're happening. It's not like, okay, we have 335 million people in the United States of America, and that's just one case. Even if it's one case that's actually being reported, or one case that was founded, or one case that has that attention. So what about all the other cases that have not been reported? What about all the other cases that once that child grows up, you find out at 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, something happened to them and it was never reported? See, these are the issues that we can go to church. I grew up in a Catholic church. My grandmother was devout Catholic. My mother was a halfway Catholic, and I guess I was a third Catholic. So we were kind of made to go to church and not understand, but we were in church. And so you can go take the holy water and dap it and make it the sign of the cross, which I did for many years. I've seen that done for many years, and then I started attending another church, and you can get the Holy Ghost and you can run around and shout and fall out under the Spirit. And you can, and speak in tongues. You can be fire baptized. You can, you can wear dresses all the way to your ankles and, shirts all the way up to your throat. You can do all of that. Yeah. You can, say anything goes, it's how, we feel or whatever. We come together and we believe this, we believe that. You can have more than one wife, whatever your belief is. What is your core? What is your core person? Are you harming someone else? Are you harming someone? And see, this is the thing. People, they believe that because they have a belief, even if it can stem from a religion or it can be that I was taught this way or whatever, they have a belief, but is that belief attacking and hurting someone else? Is it making them feel bad? Is it tearing them down? Is it preventing them from being a loving and caring person? I know that, people, you say, hey, we celebrate, February, it's Black History Month, but I'm just not black 1 month out the year. And I know you may not just be white, 11 months out the year, however it is, whatever you want to. So all of this mental stuff of saying, hey, we acknowledge this, and we say, hey, we focus on this 1 month and we're going to celebrate it. But I look at, when you say you're going to celebrate 1 month, or this is what we are going to acknowledge celebrating, the history that's being taught for all those months are not celebrating and acknowledging any Black history. So is it only looked upon as 1 month, or are you going to look at it as, okay, this has to be a part of? And the older you get, the more you realize there is a lot of history not shared in the classroom. So we are so outdated and we are so behind time. Who is actually making the decision of what is being learned in the classroom? Again, these are issues that are not being talked about. These are like the trampling the petals. Like if you take a rose and you just pull the petals apart and you put them on, throw them on the ground and somebody trample over them. This is what it's like when you tell a child that you don't want to acknowledge that they are a part of a history or culture. And especially if you decide to marry with outside your race, if you say, hey, I'm white and you're Black, let's get married, but I really don't want to acknowledge the Black side of your family. I mean, I know you Black, but then I don't want to acknowledge that because I really don't think Black is a good thing to be. I'm just saying, y'all know that's true. But why are we not addressing the issues? To me, it's more things that people turn away from and not talk about than they talk about. It's children being molested by family members. It's parents that don't say anything and protect their family members. And the children grow up and you wonder why their minds are all scrambled like eggs and they can't get it together. And you walk around in silence, parents, trying to now wanting a second chance by raising your grandchildren or wanting to be a part of it. And it's okay to want to be a part of your grandchildren, but you never saved your child's life from being messed up. So it's issues that people don't address. It's issues. You know the criminal system, the justice system, is it justice? We look at what happened to our capital, state capital, January 6th. Nobody was arrested that day. Had that been another country coming in to the capital, there would have been so many arrests and everything else would have been done. But we feel like you can't touch a certain group or you can't do a certain thing. And even the one who led the group and did the brainwashing is considered something. I mean, it's like we ignore the reality of things. And if we continue to ignore the reality of things that are going on, and there's no real repercussion for what you're doing. There's no punishment. There's no addressing the issue. There's no addressing the issue. How do we expect our children to grow up and make decisions if they're now looking at adults and saying, hey, you're doing all of these things? You're doing all of these things and making these decisions. And I look at how many children they're saying, hey, we're missing all these kids out of the school system now. We have to track them down. We don't know where they are. But you get the teachers in the school system, get them in the school system and they ridicule them. Oh, you had to take online classes. You were behind. You know the kids were behind. You know the virus was out there where they couldn't go to school. Why you got to throw that in parents' face and throw that in the children's face that they were not in school during a certain period of time because they did not feel safe to put their kids in that classroom at that time. So they're still mean and ugly. Not all of them, but it's still some mean and ugly teachers, mad, disgruntled, and teaching the children. Trampling over the petals, crumbling flowers. And we wonder why the kids want to quit school when they get to a certain age. They want to quit school because they get frustrated. They want to quit school because they were told they were not getting the help. They were laughed at, or now what's happening, and I've always wanted this. And I know I might be wrong, but I feel like if you ain't got nothing to hide, you don't mind. I've always said there needs to be a camera in the classroom. I've always said that. What you got to hide? If this is the state, if these are your children, you should be able to tune in and look to see if your child is participating in class or what they are doing. And you should be also able to look to see if the teacher is teaching the Florida State standards and how that's being taught. You should be able to do that. What's the secret? So now when you have the virtual, the Zooms and everything where the kids are participating in the online class, now you see how some of the teachers act and how some of them behave and what they say to the students, because now the students are recording this stuff. And if they are not taught that through the professional certification that they have to take to be certified as a teacher, then why are you doing all of that? Why? Because there's so many personalities, and a lot of them do what they want to do. So these are, again, are the crumbled flowers and the petals that are falling, that are being trampled underfoot. The children. So we wonder how you get messed up adults. How do you get adults who have mental issues and self-esteem problems and low confidence and all of those? How you get adults like that? Because they go through the hands. How do you get children like that? How do you get children that get to a place where their self-esteem is low? They don't know who they are. They don't want to accomplish anything. They feel defeated. They don't have the confidence they need. They don't know what direction they need to go into. They just are confused. They don't know what to do. How do you get a child to that point? Because when they're younger, they have all of these ideas. They're so excited. My husband says that when you're in fifth grade, you can be an attorney. You remember that show is Smarter Than the Fifth Grader? I remember some of those questions I couldn't answer. I was like, oh my God, these fifth graders are smart. Does the system start turning things around? What happens after that period where they can actually become an attorney? They can actually become a doctor, a nurse or whatever, because these kids are retaining information. They have 2-year-olds that can read. What happens between that time when that child is a baby coming up? Some babies can be taught to twerk and to dance, and some babies can be taught to read. It just depends on what you're going to teach your child. I've seen some children learn 5 and 6 and 7 languages. I've heard some children cuss like a sailor. What are you teaching your child? They said it takes a village to raise children. It also takes a village to mess them up. Or one person. So, when we talk about the unspoken issues, I read in the article where, the gymnasts, the parents left their children who were gymnasts. They were just Olympic gymnasts. These girls at a young age in the hands of these coaches and doctors who were molesting them and abusing them. But see, the parents never know until somebody speak out, and then someone else speak out, and someone, you think of the Boy Scouts, of all what was happening with that. You think of the church, with all that was happening with that. How long are we gonna, it's not that people are dumb or stupid or slow or can't comprehend or don't have the intelligence that's needed. They have all of that. And all of these things still happen. So it's not that people are put in a situation where they can't comprehend or understand or know. What makes someone do something? What makes a parent then ignore it? What makes a parent not find out? Check on their kids? What's going on? What makes a parent trust someone and not even assume? You don't leave no 17, no 5-year-old girl with no 17-year-old teenage boy for him to babysit and they not related. You don't leave your babies with your boyfriend who you just met to because you got to go on that cashier's job, and you leave your children with him and he out of prison. You know you married that man and started dating him when you was 14 and 15 and you married him and wonder why you can't have no little girls around him? Y'all. Because everything's not reported. But you know what? Instead of, and I'm finding out that instead of folks looking for love and looking to be with somebody because he cute, he got muscles, Mercers. He got muscles. She cute. And Lord knows, I have really said, I don't even want to address these issues. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want to discuss them. But it's plain to see. It's everywhere. You hear it over and over. Adults finally telling someone after 40 and 50 years what happened. Nobody protected them. They told their parents, they told them, nobody protect them. They said, what goes in my house stays in my house. Nobody's protecting anybody. Mama want to have her boyfriend. Mama doing crazy stuff in front of the kids. The kids seeing all kind of stuff. Kids don't like to see the mama with. You should ask them, son, do you want to see me a living boyfriend live here? But see, you so busy saying, oh, I need somebody to love me. He don't love you. He don't. But see, a lot of times we don't want to face those issues because we don't want to talk about those things. Oh no, we can't talk about those. We're Christian. We can't discuss stuff like this. We're Christian. The only time they can discuss this is, behind closed doors, when they go to counseling somewhere. We can't talk about this. We can't discuss this stuff. We got to suppress it and hide it. People got to suppress stuff and hide and live in shame and ignore things. See, because I found out that if someone was sexually abused in a way, they either sexually abuse or they ignore it. Very few deal with it if it happens to their kids and something happens. Very few deal with it. They feel like, oh, it happened to me, I survived. Or it happened to them and they want to do that to someone else. And they feel like, well, that happened to me and nobody saved me, so I can do it. And it'll be okay. It's not okay. There's a sickness in America. And I posted on my page also that something that was very disturbing, even during slavery. Very disturbing. Things you're not going to see in the history because, see, his story has to make him look sane. His story has to make him look educated has to make him look stoic, has to make him look, brilliant and a genius. His story has to make him look like he was a gentleman. His story has to. When they're saying, hey, we don't want to abolish slavery, that meant that they did not want to stop molesting young girls, making women have babies and giving them away, taking young boys to what's called you molesting them, having molesting play, having orgies, having all of this stuff. But that can't be in his story, because no one would think that someone else would agree that that was okay. His story eliminates a lot of things. But see, one thing about when you put seeds in the ground and you plant things, it's going to grow. It's going to produce. It's going to produce. And the reason why people don't want to take DNA tests, because they might find out they actually got a lot more black in their lineage than they thought they did. Yeah, I stuck that in there. Yes. And you'll find out a lot of people who say they're Indians, they're not Indians. And they got living on land, and it was handed down through their generational line. You got to deal with the lies first. You got to deal with the manipulation. You got to deal with all the false things that have been said. The false, not a fact. You got to deal with a lot of stuff. When you start researching and uncovering, see, the thing is to keep you so busy. See, train you as a child. Come up, keep you busy. You go work on somebody's job. See, they dog you out during school. You go get trained to work on somebody's job, they dog you out. You still can't think. Then you get frustrated because you still can't take care of your family. You're still frustrated and overwhelmed. Then you get sick. You still can't afford. Some nurses can't even afford to be in the hospitals that they work in. Now you're sick. You can't afford to do that. You can't afford to take care of yourself. So now you can't even afford to pay for the house that you said you had to have for 30 years. And if you pay for the house, you can't afford to fix it, and you can't afford to pay the taxes. And then when you pay the taxes, then you die, you can't afford your funeral. You got to have a GoFundMe page. Then when the GoFundMe page, then you can't afford to leave bills to your family because you ain't pay off the new car. Then you paid off the house. Then they don't want that, and they want to divide that up. Is that the American dream? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. No. It's this. You buy a house, which they probably sold some drugs and did some other stuff to get that, and lived out and killed some folks and did their life insurance. But see, they ain't gonna tell that stuff. Oh Lord, am I telling people business? But anyway, let's just say you legit. You go out there, you become a millionaire. You buy your house, your property. You buy your boats, your cars. You buy. Let's just say you start some businesses, you do some charity work, you just wonderful. You travel the world, you be wonderful and you nice, and you just do some good in the world. Who are those people? Where they at? And I tell you what, they say, hey, since I have such a wonderful life, I'm going to train 20 more to do that, and let them train 20 more, and they can do that too. And we can all be wealthy. And we can all love one another, and we can just, travel the world, and we can just do good. Who are those people? I'm waiting. But we want to sign up for this is my boat, which is their friend's boat, who is an athlete, who say he's doing the film in his friend's house, talking about that's his house and that's how he got his business and how he made money. And the friend don't have no money because he got loans out the yin yang, and if he died today or tomorrow, they gonna come get all this stuff. Y'all, We better wake up. They're probably going to snatch this video down and say, oh my gosh, you can't, oh no, we can't let the world. Please tell me something different. People who say they're making all this money, have you seen the paycheck stub? I'm just saying, where's the stubs? Anybody seen the bank account with the name? Anybody see constant bank accounts, but they're making all this money? This is my house. Really? That's your house, or that's an Airbnb house that you doing the filming in? We better stand for something or we'll fall for everything. If you don't have that spirit right, your heart right, if you're not looking at what God's purpose for you in this world, you're gonna jump through some hoops. You ever seen a circus where the trainer, who he's dealing with this animal that let's say a lion, and he want him to jump through the fiery hoop that he's holding up, the big circle hoop he's lit it on fire. And the lion is looking at him like he's crazy. He's like, I ain't trying to do this again today. Why you got me out here showing off in front of these people? And he's hitting the lion. Come on, you know we practice this. He hitting him with his whip. We practicing the lion like, you know what, you getting on my last nerve. I'm sick of this foolishness. So the lion finally said, okay, let me jump through this hoop because I'm tired of him hitting me with this whip. He hit the stick. That's painful. So the lion jumps through the hoop one more time. That's how your life is going to be. Jumping through hoops for people. You really don't want to do it. You weren't designed to jump through no hoop and sit on no big tub and the big stand the lion sit on. You were meant to be free and running through the jungle and enjoying your life and getting your own food and being with your own family and coming up with some creative way to live. You had to have nobody, okay, you got to do this. You got to do this to make this. You got to do this. You got to do. Where's your mindset? What do you have to do? What creativity do you have? What do you have to come up with? You gonna let somebody come stick you and poke you and hit you with the stick and tell you to jump through the hoop because they think that the hoop is a good idea? It will make people come and pay money if you jump through the hoop. God said your purpose is not to jump through a fiery hoop for some numbskull who think that that's important. And how old you gonna be while you jumping through that hoop? One day you ain't gonna make it through the hoop because you wasn't designed to jump through the hoops. When you find out what your purpose is, and you're gonna fight against it. Everybody not gonna agree with you. People gonna call you names and tell you worthless. You got all this education, you ain't nobody, you shouldn't do this or whatever, I think you should do that. You're gonna have many people tell you what you should be doing. You got to find out what you should be doing. Because after all, we think that this time on earth is a long time, and it's not. Time goes very fast. Very fast. Very fast. And now if it's not jumping 10 years at a time, it's going to jump 5 years and then 10 years at a time. So are you happy with where you are? Are you happy with what you're doing? Are you happy with yourself? Treat people right. Be honest and true to yourself. Find your purpose. Repent if you haven't been doing right. Repent to your children if you've ignored some stuff. Sometimes you got to go back and say, I'm sorry. My mind was not right. I'm sorry I put you in that situation. I'm sorry I ignored stuff. Sometimes you got to go apologize to people. I don't know your purpose. And I'm sorry that I spoke against your purpose, because you can hear from God just like I can hear from God. And my brother-in-law, he was on preaching about this prophet who God sent to speak to these people. And on his way, God told him not to go eat with the folks. Don't turn away. I can't remember the scripture, but I did. I remember addressing this before. And he listened to some folks who took him in a different direction, and God told him not to do that. And a lion ended up killing him. So sometimes you know what direction God told you to go in. And you take yourself right out there listening to other people because they sound smarter. They're like that circus man with the fiery hoop that you trying to jump through because she seemed like he know what he doing. You better leave that joker alone and find out what direction you're supposed to go in before because it says don't be overly evil because you will leave this earth quicker, faster than intended. I hear people bragging about a lot of stuff that they're doing. We gonna see how that's working out for you. Make some decisions in your life. Raise these babies with love and kindness and treat them right because after all, they're actually little adults will grow up one day and the memory will still be intact. Trust and believe that. Anything you say and do may be held against you. I'm just saying. So that was on my heart. I've seen things in the news. I wanted to address it. I know a lot of people want to, pretend like it's not real. This stuff is real. It really breaks my heart to see a child being mistreated. It really breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart when parents feel like they can't help. They're helpless. And they got to allow things in their household. Ooh. Don't do it. Do not do it. You know it's wrong. If it's any type of physical abuse, verbal abuse, mommy in the phone, mommy staring at everybody, mommy getting attention from everybody else, not giving the kids any attention, that's abuse. It's time to get it together. Fathers who want to be fathers part-time, some of them full-time daddies, some of them do what they're supposed to do, but there's a lot of them that woo. So it's time to come to a point where you say, okay, I draw the line in the sand. No more stupid stuff. No more foolishness. I got to get it together. I got to be the grown. My mind got to catch up with the size my body is, which is I'm a grown adult. Now it's time to get the mind in a better place. It's too much education, too many things out there where you can learn and grow. Too many things. If you bombarded with a whole bunch of craziness, go get some help. If you hate yourself, start exercising. Then start eating right. Then start drinking water. Then start reading and praying during all of those processes. And get with people who actually can encourage you and push you. So I guess that's my cue. A lot of times my assistant will come up and tune me out. Well, I hope that helps someone. I probably won't leave this video up long. Whoever needed to hear it will hear it. I'll probably leave this video up for a few hours. I hope this touched the hearts of whoever it needs to be touch their heart. God will allow whoever needs to see it. But you have a blessed day and you have a prosperous day. Praying for your well-being, your health, your stability, your prosperity, that you have an abundance in all areas. So lots of love to you. You have a wonderful day. This is Cy Lawson.